The meeting of June 30th, 2016. Roll call. Here.
Here.
Here. Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No.
Approval of the minutes of October 29th, November 5th, November 19th, December 3rd, December 10th, December 17th, and December 31st.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for those dates.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Item A under correspondence, agreement with First Group Engineering for a traffic signal warrant study at 174th and Kennedy Avenue. I think this is like $6,000. Do I have a motion approving the agreement?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Next, item B is a proposal received from SEH of Indiana for GIS services for the pavement asset management system. This is going to be required for communities accessing federal dollars, so we need to do this. And this is approximately a $15,000 contract. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, correspondence received from AT&T requesting permission to perform work at 2929 Carlson Drive. They're going to be boring underground. Do I have a motion approving the digging request?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item D, correspondence received from Chief of Police John Doty requesting the relinquishment of FTO specialty pay to Officer John Adam, Carmen Ramirez, Everett Logan, Gabe Gutierrez, approvals of block parties, approval of the Challenger Learning Center of Northwest Indiana's 5K Glow Space Race, Saturday, September 17 at 7 p.m., and the denial of one block party. I don't know. It should be in here, right? It must be this one. B29 Eaton. Do I have a motion? Well, the chief has a cover letter if you want to look at it. He's already informed her. I don't think she's in the audience, right? Mrs. Ramirez?
Make a motion to approve the chief's requests?
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Item E, correspondence received from Attorney John Reed requesting the hearing regarding property located at 3840 179th Street to be continued to July 14, 2016.
Mr. President, this is the Motel 6. This is an emergency order to repair or to seal the second floor because of the condition of the balcony. There is some question about the amount of deflection. The normal deflection is 2% or something like that, and this is deflecting at 5%. So they don't know if it's an issue of maybe an imminent collapse or if it's some sort of a malfunction. But what's going to happen now is they have an engineer coming in to do an investigation and a report, and they expect his report to be done by the 8th, which is too late for the meeting on the 7th. So we've agreed to continue this hearing to the 14th.
I have a serious reservation. I don't want to continue with it. But my
Sure.
concern is the safety of the occupants.
These are timber balconies?
This is, second floor is concrete, four concrete floor, cantilevers out about 5 feet over the, first floor walkway. There's no supports underneath it, so it's got the true cantilever out. Hard to tell exactly what is holding the concrete up, but it appears to be the rebar, made of number 6 rebar that are coming out every 8 or 10 inches that are coming out.
So there's cracks in the concrete?
Well, there's a lot more than cracks. Let me show you a
many balconies are there?
Oh, gosh, it's a kind of a W-shaped building. And there's
So are they all connected, or is each balcony a separate balcony?
They're all connected.
Okay.
They're all, you can walk from one all the way around to the other, and take a look at all the pictures. Now, does that mean that the balcony is going to just fall down? Probably not. But when I see part of the balcony slope twice what is allowed by building code, to tell me that there is a structural problem. And at a 4% slope, that is unsafe to walk on. And with the loose, you'll see chunks of concrete that are falling down onto the first floor. And when I combine all of that, my opinion is the second floor is not safe to occupy.
So this is the only way to access the rooms on the second floor is by walking on this walkway upstairs?
The only way, exactly.
This looks worse than Klein Avenue, and the state shut it down and took it out of service.
Exactly. I had an independent.
And this looks like they've done some temporary repairs that were kind of just cosmetic.
For years. In fact, 2 years ago, they did a renovation of their parking lot and their lobby, and they had repairs scheduled for the balconies at that time, and they ran out of money and just decided not to do it. There is not a lot of people that are staying there. In my opinion, they could take anybody who's on the second floor and fill up rooms on the first floor. But I would suggest that we do declare the second floor unusable until they at least get some temporary repairs in there, some supports underneath it, get the loose concrete out of the way. A concern of mine, because you can see concrete from up on top, down on the bottom. So what happens if this lady's carrying a child and that concrete falls and hits them on the head? Just not a.
From what I see in the pictures, I think you're right, and I think it is hazardous, and we should make that declaration that we shouldn't be using that second floor until they have some type of repairs or.
Well, they do have an engineer who's coming in. The problem is they couldn't have the engineer. I did get the attention of corporate headquarters by sending this notice. Mr. Cook had been attempting unsuccessfully to deal with the local manager since probably May. And I know there's rebar, and I know it doesn't increase strength, it only increases ductility, but they don't want it sealed until such time as they have their engineer go in so that they can have a better scope of it. I think they're using Zany Kuhn? Is that-
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they don't want to close it off before the engineer?
They just don't want the board to take any action until they have their engineer come in, and then they're going to make a determination whether they tear it down, repair it. They just don't want anything. So they're just asking this hearing be moved to the 14th.
But isn't it in the best interest of the city to protect ourselves if we feel that that's not safe?
Well,
And we can always change our mind if we get a report back that says, yeah, this is safe, which I'd be real surprised if that happens.
Correct, but this has also been like this since May, and so I don't see how 2 weeks is probably gonna make
All
much.
that you need is a bunch of people all in one
Right.
spot on the balcony to overload it.
Like I said, they're represented by council, they've got an engineer, they're moving forward, they're just asking for 2 weeks so they can,
So what's your recommendation?
I recommend that we just set this over for 2 weeks to the July the 14th, and if the conditions should become worse in any matter, we can always revisit this next week or under an emergency order. But they, like I said, they are now aware of the problem.
Are you good with that, Kurt?
I'll defer to Chris on any legal matter. My question to her, legally, if we know that the likelihood of an accident has greatly increased and don't take action, are we putting ourselves in liability? And again, the balcony's not gonna fall. It's gonna get worse. It has gotten worse in the past 6 weeks, but I've been monitoring the situation. It wasn't until Chris did the emergency order to repair the house that we got their attention. Some of these, you see the pictures where the balconies are pulled away. You know, I mean, you can do that.
Do we know what their occupancy has been on the second floor in this period of time that we've been monitoring it?
There were 6 cars in the parking lot the last time I was there, 8 cars the time before, and there's like 200 rooms.
I mean, are they trying to keep people on the first floor versus putting them on the second floor, do we know?
If you want, I can make contact with the attorney for the corporation and let them know that that's the board's request while this matter is pending for 2 weeks. But like I said, this has been going on since May, and it's not like winter time where we're gonna have a big snow load. Nothing really seems to have dramatically changed since we started working on
No,
it.
I could see an increase in travelers this weekend, possibly, you know, that's the only place they can find. So the occupant load probably may go up this weekend because it's a 3-day weekend.
Maybe for the air show next weekend, I don't know, but the only thing is I would hate to now take some action against it now that they're finally doing something. You know, if we were going to do something to them because they weren't responding, that's one thing, but now they are responding. They've got everything in motion, they've got engineers, they've got,
Can you make that request
Sure.
of corporate that,
Yeah.
Anybody who seeks,
rooming, just put them on the first floor.
Gotta be on the first floor?
Was the initial, I guess, threat, was that we were make them shut their doors entirely until the problem was
Correct.
corrected?
Correct. We were going to have them vacate all the second floor and seal them. Because under the Unsafe Building Act, we are allowed to seal an unsafe building or portion of a building. So basically, we would order sealed the entire second floor of the entire complex.
You know, there's things that could go, there's pieces of concrete could fall on somebody on the lower section. There's railing that if it's disconnected from the wall, that somebody could lean against it and they could fall. I think there's too many hazards there not to at least tell them, hey, we're very uncomfortable with this. You guys need to do something. You need to keep people off that
Okay.
balcony until your report is ready.
All right, I'll communicate that to the attorney.
Okay. You're welcome.
We need a motion on that?
Did you want a motion on that, Chris, or you're gonna take care of it?
No, the motion is just that we continue the emergency demolition hearing till the 14th. We'll have it on that day.
Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Next, we have a notice of violation hearing on property located at 7440 Monroe. Is that property owner here? This is the documentation on it?
Good morning. So this is a property that we were called, our attention was called to after a large volume of police calls, over a dozen. When we inspected it on February 8th, we discovered the owner, Gene Moore, was living there with his friend Dan Reynolds, these two, and his 6 and 8-year-old children of Dan Reynolds. We discovered that Moore was living in the basement in a bedroom that they had constructed without any permits pulled. You notice no permits have been pulled since the 1950s there, so any work done is not permitted. They have been cooperating with us in the last month. You know, last time we checked was last week. They had some of the walls down. They had an electrician come and do electrical work. On our inspection on the 22nd, though, we still discovered some of the basement bedroom walls up. Yeah, and they claim they've been removed, but we need to get back in there.
There's a full basement in there?
Yeah.
Because all that sidewalk looks like it's tipping towards the building, like there's a problem with the foundation or the footing drain.
Yeah, you know, I did notice that there was some dipping in the back. You guys have any insight on that?
Yeah, I got a little. Yeah.
Is that a block basement wall or a poured basement wall? Block?
Yeah, mine's the newest house, further on the block. The people next door built for their kids. They went to college and they moved out. And they own all the property. So there is a little safety in there. When I lift the tiles up, I better put something on. Whatever you guys suggest. Concrete or.
Just so the wall's not moving, the basement wall. Because if
No,
footing
no
drains
problem
are,
with basement walls. It's
sometimes the block wall
no,
will
no.
start to leak.
It's a sound house. It's one of the best looking houses on the block.
I've been through the basement recently, it's not,
He's carpet.
leaks at all, and not the basic water with the paint and all that, it's a leak back house.
Yeah. So basically, we're just looking for an order to remove the basement bedroom. An order to remove the basement bedroom,
Okay.
basically. They have been cooperating though, so hopefully when we get in there, you know, Okay.
So what's your recommendation to the board?
Suppose we should just set another date for the hearing.
Do
Yes.
they have agreement? Are they just working with them or we have agreement? We have a rehab agreement on this. Communicating with you and.
What do you
Now,
want-
the owner Moore says he's gonna be moving, and they're they're registering it as a rental with Dan Reynolds as the tenant.
He's taking over the property. We just got insurance.
So how much time do they need?
The basement's
2
been,
weeks, 30 days?
You know, I guess we could just set it for 30 days. Or should
30 days.
we set another hearing?
Let's do it August 4th.
Yeah.
Let's reschedule the hearing to see what the status is on August 4th.
All right,
okay.
thank you very much.
Do I need a
Okay.
motion on that?
Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Motion and second, questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item G, rental registration hearing on property located at 7135 Columbia Avenue, 1144 Summer and 903 Bauer. Is that property owner here? Are they all owned by the same property owner?
Not here?
How many units is this? Is it just 3 units?
So what it is 1144 Summer is 1 unit, 7135 Columbia is 3 units, and 903 Bauer is 1 unit.
So we're looking at, what, $2,500 and they haven't shown up?
What's the history?
So what the history is that she's owned these properties for a while now, and she's never lived in any of them. 2014, she was sent to collections for 2 properties, one for registration 2014, another property for registration from 2012 to 2000.
Not these though, none of these.
Yeah, 2 of these.
Oh.
Yes, that's.
What years are we looking at? What years?
Okay, well, she was here for registration for 2016
Okay.
on all these properties. But she had a history of registering late on 2 of these properties. So she's not here.
But she's late for 2016? Are we just here for 16 this
Yeah,
year?
we're just here for
Okay.
16, yes.
And I'm sorry, can you give me the number of the units again?
Yes, it's 5 total.
What do you want to do, Chris? She doesn't show up, you know. I have such a motion? Motion and second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item H, rental registration hearing on property located at 264 Vine Street.
All right, so we're here for 264 Vine Street, and they didn't register 1 unit for 2016. They bought the house in 2011? And then you moved out when? (2014), okay. When did you start renting? So they've never registered. We did go inspect this house. We did notice that there was a few things wrong that they needed to correct, like in a licensed electrician and possibly a structural engineer. There is a tenant in there.
For 16?
For 16, yes, we inspected it about a month ago. And, yeah, we're here for 16, but she's been renting it, you know, she had rented out for 15.
out there to inspect? Are they working with you to make those corrections?
Yep, I was there, Tom, we haven't inspected it yet. Again, this is the first time, and I'll talk to Tom about, do another reinspection to see if they did the necessary repairs.
Have they been working with you on that?
I'm not sure, Tom. Go on.
All right, we're gonna waive the late fee. The unit needs to be registered for the years 2015 and 2016 at a rate of $5 per year. And we will need an affidavit signed that the owner was living in the property prior to that date.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? You have a question?
She's saying that the, people that are living there right now, tenants, they're moving out on the 8th. And they're gonna sell the house.
She still needs to register for 2016 because a renter was living there during this year, okay?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Next, I'd like to recognize Councilman Torres from the second district. I'd also like to make a comment that Mark McLaughlin, Jana Venez also. Saturday is Mark McLaughlin's birthday. He's gonna be 62 years old. I know, I wanted to say it while he was here, but we were in the middle of one of the rental registration hearings, so we could sing happy birthday at the end of the meeting. Yeah, they're probably watching this right now. Okay, next is, did we do the 6828? Yeah. Item I, we've already checked it off. Rental registration hearing on property located at 6828 Woodmar Avenue.
Oh, 6828 Woodmar, it looks like she purchased, or you looked at these names? She purchased a house in January 2015, and she owes for 2015, 2016 rental registration 1 unit.
And that's the only property that you own in Hammond?
Yeah. Was it rented out during those years? Was it rented out in May? This May.
So you didn't rent it last year?
It says there was a lottery of 20,000 in August of last year. Someone was in.
I turned it on.
28,000, was there a leak?
That's
Well, I was working on the house and I done yard work and I did,
You're sprinkling a lot, yeah, that would explain.
and I did all the landscaping so that before that I could see it.
earlier in the year, it was just estimated.
So you need an affidavit also?
Yes, or 15, if that's the case. That's what I'm going to decide.
We'll make a motion to waive the late fee for 2016. It does need to be registered at a rate of $5 for 1 unit. And we'll need an affidavit signed that it wasn't rented during 2016.
That's fine. You know, I personally live this, I know people you get rental registration. But, is there anything that you have mailed that to you?
We do. We send out a reminder.
To my house?
It should have gone to, well, if you're the first time, was it a rental prior to that?
No.
No, so it's because it was the first time. So we don't have you on file yet. When we have you on file, so now that, once you register, you'll be on our list, and then the card will go out in the mail. You have to register at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you can pick up a copy downstairs of the form, fill out, or you can print it off our website. We have a motion?
Second, yes.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye. Those against, motion passes. Item J, rental registration hearing on property located at 4908 through 4910 Hickory Avenue and 7537 Beach. these both single family or?
One, Hickory is 2-unit, and Beach, is a 1.
Your property owner, your name's Tiffany, Willard?
Never forgotten to register.
She's always registered in the past?
Every year she works on that.
Any issues with property?
No issues, just, in the past, but this was 4 years ago, couple of weeks ago. So it's 3 units total.
Just for 16?
Yes, just for 16.
Are these the only units you're renting in Hammond? Yes, ma'am.
A motion to waive the late fee, register the 3 units at $5 per, for a total of $15, 2016.
I didn't understand what you said.
We're gonna waive the late
Fee is
fee.
waived.
And wait,
You need to register 3 units
Okay.
for $5 apiece for a total of $15, 2016.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item K, correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing. There's only one. Anyone scheduled? August 18th.
Make a motion to set for August 18th.
Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item L, agreements to rehabilitate property located at 27 Elizabeth, First Extension, 4702 Mason, 7908 Delmar, First Amendment, 6813 Woodmar Avenue, First Amendment.
Mr. President, these are all properties that are on the demolition list. These are all properties that are under a rehab agreement. These are all properties where the rehab agreement has expired. Based on Secretary of progress in each location, building commissioner is recommending that we grant this extension to allow it to be completed. They're not real long extensions, basically to the end.
They're all the same owner?
No, it's
Okay.
three completely separate and distinct properties, which is on the agenda together, but they're all going to be basically given to the end of summer. If they can't get it done by the end of summer, they probably can't get it done.
That's the recommendation of the building.
Motion to approve the recommendation of the building commissioner.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye. Those against, motion passes. Item M, contract with ISCO Construction for the demolition of property located at 651 119th Street, 7531 Jackson, and 5424 Wood. The total for the contract is not to exceed $24,200. Do we have a motion approving the contract?
Can I ask Kelly Kearney, come up on this one? I know we had some issues with the past, contract that was awarded to this contractor.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other son? I'm sorry, I was.
Yeah, we've had a situation that rectified. We have some foundation in one of their demos and do a test based on another property that they did, was recommended the same situation. That came up clean. At this point, we're not able to do responsible bidder. We are going to be keeping an eye on this, a couple other contractors that we're having situations with. I'm okay with the contract for them. At the same time, like I said, we'll be watching them and making sure that everything's being removed. A lot of it's lack of, or failure to communicate, lack of communication. We're doing that on our side, making sure that we're going to. At the same time, I want the building inspector to be tied up. You see another contractor, well, the demolitions, the prices are great. As I explained to the owner, that I think the prices are great, but I need it done right. That seems to be a problem that we're second most bid.
Make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Correspondence received from Mr. Gary Gleason, Director of Public Works, requesting approval of a no semi-trucks local delivery only sign with weight tonnage to be placed at Unity Church, 700 River Drive, and placement of a 4-way stop sign on Birch Avenue and Bertram for a 90-day trial period. Do I have a motion approving those two requests?
Motion to approve, Gary's request.
Second?
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item O, Vision Service Plan Contract Renewal for October 2016 through January 2019. Is this with the same company, or?
Yes, this is with our current vision provider under self-insurance. We've asked them to extend the contract for a few months so that we can get all of our health insurance contracts on a January 1 start date.
So do I have a motion approving?
Motion to approve the contract renewal.
Second?
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item P, agreement with live streaming provider for GoHammon TV, submitted for approval. This looks like it's for $3,000. I have a motion approving, yes.
Motion to approve?
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item Q. Correspondence received from Whiting Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce requesting street closures and parking bans for the Pierogi Fest Parade, Friday, July 26, 2016. Looks like Tom Daberton wrote this because he talks about all the positive press that this generates. Title at the bottom, Parade and Festival Chairman, past President, Whiting Robertsdale Chamber, all around good guy. Do I have a motion to approve?
Do we need to,
Motion
send it for
and-
any review? We need to send it to the police department for any review.
Yeah, subject, yeah, because the police department and civil defense are gonna have to coordinate that, so it should go to both those departments. I shouldn't be calling it civil defense anymore, right?
That's what Donnie was saying.
But I've been here like 40 years, so I'm like used to using that term. All right,
Second his
so we-
motion.
So we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, Yakshamash. Yes, thank you, Polish. Item R, correspondence received from MW King Solomon Universal Grand Lodge requesting a street closure on Maywood Avenue and Sibley Street for a cookout Saturday, July 9th from noon to 8.
I will make a motion to approve, subject to approval by, police department.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Rod sale permits, we probably have a ton of them, right? It's that season. I have the same problem. But I got a little better idea.
Motion to approve the garage sale request.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye. Matters from other board members, I have 4 matters. The first one is a request from Lydia Santos, 7150 Alexander. She wants to close the street at the corner of 7150 Alexander, which is right at 172nd Street. They're having a going-away party for her grandson, who's leaving to go to Afghanistan. He's a graduate of Morton High School. And they want to have it Saturday, July 9th, from 2 to 9. Do I have a motion approving the street closure subject to the police chief?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Next, we have a request from Janet Vanez, National Night Out for 2016, hosted by Mayor Tom McDermott. The City of Hammond Crime Watch groups will be held Tuesday, August 2nd at the Wolf Lake Splash Pad. For your approval, we have the following requests for the event. They've got the number of picnic tables and stuff that they want. And it looks like it's going to begin on July 26th and will be removed by August 3rd. Do I have a motion approving the Crime Watch event?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have 3 proposals that were acquired by the engineering department to cut down trees in the 2nd district. I think the councilman's here. They range from $2,300 to almost $3,800. The low bidder is Outdoor Tree Service. And do you have the money to fund this, Councilman?
I'm sure we do.
Okay.
He does.
So do we have a motion approving the award to Outdoor Tree Service for $2,300 to cut down 6 trees?
So moved.
Second.
These are all in the Parkway, by the way. I hope they are all in the Parkway,
Yes,
right?
they are.
Yeah. Next, we have,
We gotta vote.
oh. Do we have a motion?
Yep.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Next, we have a change order on the Grand Marquette Bike Trail. And it's a reduction in cost of $58,000, basically because they didn't do a field office. So that item was actually deleted from the contract, and there was a substantial underrun on topsoil. So those are the 2 reasons for the huge change order, which is always good if it lowers the price. Do I have a motion approving the change order for the Grand Marquette Trail?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Do we have any other matters from board members?
None.
Any matters from other department heads or their representatives?
Mr. President, I got in contact with the attorney for Motel 6, and they said temporary measures are being taken right now as we speak to address life safety issues. 60-plus tripping hazards, and the railings are being welded. Permanent fixes will be in the work plan with Tom Kuhn and the structural engineer. So they're not waiting to the 14th to do anything, but they just want the hearing on the 14th. They do have somebody working already.
You want to comment on that, Kelly, or? You have something else?
This is a different matter entirely. This is regarding a business at 7233 Hams Boulevard called Spot Hookah. Brought to our attention through some issues that have been going on there, police department related. We did an inspection. I'm going to show you some pictures of some of the issues that we are concerned with. These were taken by Dr. Lina. We'll look at them in order. The first issue is egress. That first picture, as you walk in, the lighter picture is the actual entry door. So when you go into the entry, there's actually 2 doors. You're facing one, and there's also one to the right. So it may cause some confusion as you're walking in there which door to use. More importantly, and safety-wise, is if FD was to go into this hookah lounge or bar at this point, you're not going to know which door to go into. You're going to gain entry through either door. If you see the gray pictures on the second page, it basically is painted the same color as the wall. If you didn't know it was there, you would never know it was an exit. It should be something that is up and functioning for egress. Furthermore, they only have one means of egress.
Is there a lighted exit sign over that?
There's a lighted exit sign, but there's on the door that you can gain entry in. What the other door is not, from the inside, you can hardly tell it's a door.
So these is there like a foyer area or what?
Yes, the vestibule. You go in, there's a door directly in front of you, and to the right is a door that was been painted. So as a customer, you come in, you're not gonna know which door to go into. As a fireman, you're not gonna know which door to go into. From the interior, if you're wanting to get out, you're not gonna even know that there's a door there. There's also another door that's in the last picture that shows entry to another room that is completely blocked off and cordoned off and painted the same as the wall. If you didn't, in a dimly lit setting, you wouldn't know those doors were there, if it was a possible means of egress or not. It only has one means of egress. Conversation with Mr. Cook indicates that they would need two. We have egress issues. If there's a fire in this building, it's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be very difficult to respond to and act accordingly. I do have a report from Inspector Wheeler regarding the inspection, if you'd like to see that. The egress issues being as important as they are is heightened by the fact of the electrical situation that's in the building. It is basically run by extension cords from one end of the wall, completely circumferencing the exterior walls. Everything is run by extension cords. There is a breaker box by the bar that is literally accessible to the customer that is not flush, it's not set right. There's exposed electric throughout the building, many places. I'm asking that in order to shut off the electricity to this one unit. The other two units seem to be in compliance. The situation is severe enough that I'm here in front of the Board of Works asking for an order to send to NIPSCO to terminate the electric at this building. The operator has came in and said she understands the situation, is going to be getting an electrician to rectify. But in the meantime, I am not comfortable having this place open and operating, putting these patrons at.
Do they have a business license?
You do not have a business license.
We have the 15, but not 16,
Yeah,
correct?
15 was a business license for a hookah lounge. They're running a bar.
So ownership has changed?
They have a liquor license. The ownership, there's one gentleman who owns the building.
Right.
The liquor license is, I rented, I don't know if they bought their liquor license, if they're sole possession of the liquor license. But he still has the liquor license.
Yes, they have a liquor license.
So, Mr. Lewis indicated that the ownership of the bar has changed. And the rent, the lease anyway. So the
But it's
license
still
they
a
had last
hookah
year is not
lounge?
in the same name.
It's still a hookah lounge or
No.
it's a bar?
It's a bar. So there's other issues that come up from a hookah lounge to a bar, parking being one of them. Part of the reason they did get their business license, it was filled out as if they had 40 parking spaces. Now this building also indicates, also has the beauty shop, Shoop's, and across the other side of the lot is the Stuffed Pepper. So they don't have a business license, they shouldn't be open, they shouldn't be operating. That aside, these safety issues put us at a great risk. Now we've done the inspection and indicated what issues are there.
They're still operating as a business today, even though, or recently, even though they didn't have a license to do so?
That's correct.
And so if the board would grant the request of the electric, what at that point do you request those folks to do to their unit in the building?
They're going to have to come in compliance for what they're doing, and if there's a question if that's going to even be possible. She's indicated that she's going to has taken the list of our electricians and is going to get some estimates on what needs to be done. I'm just not comfortable in the meantime letting them operate with basically running an extension cord from one spot to the other. I mean, we have extension cords into extension cords and plugged into exposed electric. It's kind of a disaster waiting to happen. We did mark it uninhabitable for electrical, fire, and egress. So they shouldn't be in operation. It was immediate. I'm not comfortable if they will follow that uninhabitable posting. We've indicated to police that we have done such.
So who is the business owner? Do we know? Do we have a name?
Thomas Kahlo?
Like
I mean, did they apply?
Last
Oh,
year.
it was last year. Did they apply for one this year?
Yes.
And I'm assuming if the fire
It was-
inspector went through, that was not approved at all?
Never got to that far,
Okay.
not zoned for what they want to do. Never got
They
off.
still opened up?
Yeah.
They opened up.
They are operating every day?
That's correct. That aside, I understand they're operating without a business license, and those steps have been taken. They've been cited from that, from my understanding. I'm dealing with the building, and the building is unsafe for the activity that's going on in there, the amount of people that are being in there, the way these things are being run. It's a danger.
Have you talked to NIPSCO at all? Is that what they request from you? Board action of some kind?
Normally, they want they want some kind of a legal notice saying that this is the situation. Mercedes Estrella is the one that is running the business. She was present at the inspection. We finished, had a little group meeting and talking about, and then, but she took off before we could explain to her.
What's her name?
Merced Estrella.
Like from Estrella over
That's
here?
what her first name was? Merced Estrella is the husband. The wife is
From the place that was on the corner of
Chicago and
Pullman
Holman. Yeah. And also from,
Ground?
and also from 150th, they were trying to operate a bar there that, again, wouldn't meet zoning.
I'm going to make a motion to approve Mr. Kearney's request.
Ms. Cantor, I'm not sure if I should vote in this matter. I've had some previous issues with these folks.
Okay, we only need 2 votes, as long as Mr. Gustafsson and Mr.
I
Kearney
want-
sign an order.
Then I'll make a recommendation that we approve Mr. Kearney's request.
And your request is,
Cindy,
could you restate it again? Because we've been talking a lot, and I'm not sure I
Understood.
understand what it is.
I would like to have a order to affirm the termination of electrical to
Okay, for
1733 Indianapolis until it is brought into compliance.
And we have a motion, and I'll second the motion. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Those abstaining?
Aye, Kevin, Mark, aye.
Understood. Thank you.
Two for, and 1 abstaining. Motion passes. Is there any other matters from department heads or their representatives? Are you coming up, Kurt? Do you have a matter? I see you walking up towards the
Wants to
front.
leave.
Oh, he's not a matter.
Okay. Do we have any new business? Any old business? Meeting's open to the public. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to step up to the microphone? Anyone in the audience? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments?